The best way to control the cattle is to give them a big pasture. To master the herd, you must first give them a vast field.
There was a man who smoked for 20 years. He tried everything to quit. Meet Kenji. For 20 years, he was a slave to the smoke. Nicotine patches, therapy, medication, even hypnosis. Thousands of dollars burned, yet the chains only grew tighter around his soul.
Then he traveled to Japan for work and met an old monk who taught him something that changed everything. Within 3 months, he quit smoking completely, and not through force or willpower. In just 90 days, the monk showed him a completely different way. A way that felt almost too easy to be true.
What if the very act of dynamic action against your habits is what gives them power? What if your struggle is the very thing feeding your dark creature?
Imagine a world where your vices simply dissolve like mist in the morning sun. No epic For centuries, the East has held a secret about the human soul. A truth the West is only now starting to whisper. They don't treat their habits like creature to be slain.
They don't see habits as opponents to defeat. They've mastered a gentler path, a system that dances with the mind instead of wrestling it to the ground.
Look around. The Western world is obsessed with the powerful force-it mentality, but force is a brittle tool.
We sprint into January with fire in our eyes, only to be burnt out and broken by the time the snow melts in February. We toss our digital chains aside in a grand performance of detox, only to crawl back to them 3 days later, desperate for the fix.
We build pedestals of perfection so high we're guaranteed to fall. And when we do, we drown in the shame of our own making.
But the Japanese see a different truth. A habit isn't a dark creature. It's a pattern that was once a government agency. It served a purpose once.
Every habit, even the ones that tear you down, started as a solution. It was your brain's way of surviving a storm.
That Kizaru pipe? It wasn't just smoke. It was a moment of peace in a world of chaos. You weren't chasing a high, you were chasing a breath.
A man who eats until he's numb? He's not greedy. He's just trying to fill a hole that words can't reach. Food was his first friend.
Take the story of a young monk. He was a man of peace, yet a volcano of intensity simmered beneath his robes.
Tiny sparks, a dropped bowl, a slow student would ignite him. He didn't just get angry, he became the fire itself.
He fought it with everything. Mantras, fasting, hours of silence. He tried to strangle his intensity with discipline.
But anger is like a shadow. The harder you strick at it, the more it mocks you. He was exhausted, defeated by his own heart. Then, a master, one who had walked through his own fires, whispered a secret that changed the battlefield forever.
Stop trying to defeat the creature within. Instead, invite it to tea. Watch it like a cloud drifting across the peak of Fuji.
Notice when it arrives, how it burns in your intense red, but do not strike back. Simply observe.
Anger is here. Within weeks, the miracle happened. The fire didn't go out. It just lost its power to burn him. By watching without judgment, he built a fortress of space between his soul and his storms.
He could feel the anger rise like a tide, but he no longer drowned in it. He was the shore, not the wave. Eventually, the visits grew rare, and when they came, they passed like a summer squall, quick, loud, and then gone.
This principle of impermanence is the bedrock of the Japanese way. They know that nothing, not
When you truly grasp this, the world shifts. That desperate, burning need for a cigarette, it's not a command, it's just a passing cloud. The urge to check your phone, the craving for a drink, they are like waves. They rise, they peak, and they inevitably break upon the shore.
But look at how we usually handle these moments. We treat a simple urge for a sweet treat like a 5-alarm fire that must be extinguished.
We either surrender instantly, or we try to run away through frantic distraction. Both paths treat
The Japanese way is different. Don't dynamic action it, don't feed it, just acknowledge it. Feel the full weight of the urge without acting on it.
Sit with that discomfort. Treat it like a friend who's having a rough day. You don't need to fix them, you just need to be present.
Take the businessman in Tokyo. 20 years of chain smoking, and he didn't quit through force. He quit by learning to watch the smoke.
Stop dynamic action your fire. Curiosity is the water that cools it. Watch your intensity like a drifting cloud.
Feel its arrival. Where does it sit? In your chest? Your jaw? Don't strike back. Just watch it exist.
Understanding impermanence. This isn't just philosophy, it's the bedrock of true change.
Nothing in this world is permanent. Not the cherry blossoms, and definitely not your cravings.
Burning need for a smoke? It's just a passing cloud. That itch to check your phone? It'll vanish like mist in the morning sun.
Cravings are like waves. They swell, they peak, and then they break. But look at how we usually handle them. We panic.
When that sugar-dark creature whispers, most people either surrender immediately or run away in a desperate attempt to distract themselves.
We treat a simple urge like a 5-alarm fire that must be put out. But there's a third path, the path of the observer. Don't dynamic action it, just sit with it. Treat your craving like an upset friend. Listen to it, acknowledge it, but don't let it drive the car.
Don't try to fix the feeling, just be there. One Tokyo businessman used this exact stillness to shatter a 20-year smoking addiction.
He didn't hide his cigarettes. He kept them right on his desk. When the urge connect, he'd pick one up, smell the tobacco.
He'd set a timer for 10 minutes. I can smoke when it rings, he'd tell himself. And in those 10 minutes, he learned the secret of the wave.
A businessman in Tokyo, plagued by a 20-year smoking habit, found a revolutionary way to quit. Banishing his cigarette, when the urge to smoke arose, he wouldn't dynamic action it. He'd pick up a cigarette, hold it, smell it, and fully immerse himself in the craving.
Then, he'd set a timer for 10 minutes, promising himself he could smoke when it rang. During those 10 minutes, he simply sat with it, observing how it moved through his body like a wave. He noticed it would peak around 3 minutes.
By the time 10 minutes passed, the craving's intensity had usually diminished enough that he could simply choose not to smoke.
It was about understanding the true nature of cravings. They feel permanent, overwhelming in the moment, but
You are not your cravings. You are the awareness that observes them. The art of Kaizen.
A passing shadow.
The storm feels eternal when you're in it. But even the fiercest gale eventually sighs into a breeze.
5 minutes. That's the peak of the wave. If you can stay on your board for just 5 minutes, you've won.
Kaizen, the art of the tiny step. Because a mountain isn't climbed in a leap, but in 1,000 small breaths.
We're obsessed with the big bang of change. We want to wake up as a different person tomorrow. From the couch to a marathon in a week? That's not a plan. That's a recipe for a broken spirit. The all or nothing trap is where dreams go to fall. Let's try something different. Let's try 1%.
The Japanese have another concept called Kaizen, which means continuous small improvement.
Western culture loves dramatic transformations. We want to go from couch potato to marathon runner overnight. We want to quit all our bad habits at once and become completely different people by next Monday.
This all or nothing thinking sets us up for failure. Kaizen takes the opposite approach.
Instead of trying to change everything at once, you change 1% at a time.
If you want to break a habit of watching 4 hours of television each night, you do not suddenly go cold turkey.
You reduce it by 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes less today than yesterday.
This seems almost insultingly small to the Western mind. We want big changes, and we want them now.
We're totally misreading how our brains actually rewire themselves.
Think of those habits as deep-rooted forest paths, carved out over years, even decades of walking the same route. You can't just bulldoze a forest overnight. You have to patiently clear a new trail, one step at a time.
Real transformation isn't a lightning strike. It's the steady drip of small, relentless actions.
Take this woman in Kyoto. She was drowning in a shopping addiction until she discovered the power of Kaizen.
She didn't go nuclear. No shredded cards, no impossible vows of never again. Her secret tool? A simple 24-hour rule. One day of breathing room before connect that buy button.
If the fire was still burning after a full day, she gave herself permission. But usually, the spark just faded.
Tiny steps are the secret. They slip past your brain's internal alarm. Big, sudden changes? That's a red alert.
Small shifts fly under the radar. Your brain doesn't see them as a threat, so it doesn't dynamic action back. Don't just quit, replace. Find your ikigai, your true purpose, the reason you wake up with a smile every morning. Bad habits are just placeholders for empty spaces. Stress makes us reach for a smoke. Loneliness makes us reach for the fridge. Boredom drives the endless scroll. If you don't fix the root cause, you're just leaving a hole that's begging to be filled with something worse.
The Japanese secret? Find what gives your soul fire. Swap the poison for your passion, slowly aligning your life with your ikigai.
It's not a simple trade. It's a discovery. What are you actually hungry for? Find the real cure for the real craving. Take the man who drank every night. He wasn't hooked on the sake. He was hooked on the off switch it gave him after a brutal day at work. He realized the sake was just a ritual to shift gears. Once he understood the why, he could change the how. He created a new transition ritual. He'd come home, shed the suit of the corporate world, and step into the comfort of his true self. He'd brew a pot of tea and spend 10 minutes sketching, a passion he'd buried for decades. In the West, we use shame like a whip. We call ourselves weak when we stumble, creating an inner conflict that drains our spirit.
The Japanese practice self-compassion. When you slip, you don't point fingers. You treat yourself like a dear friend who is struggling.
Breaking a habit isn't about transformation, it's about construction. You don't tear down the old road, you build a better one alongside it.
Change isn't an epic confrontation of willpower, it's a dance of repetition. Every time you choose the new path, the old one fades into the overgrowth. Think of it like a tree growing around a fence. Eventually, the tree becomes so strong and vast that the fence simply doesn't matter anymore.
Don't just quit. Find your ikigai, your true reason for being. Replace the chaos with something that feeds your soul.
It's not a simple swap, it's a deep dive into your own needs. What are you actually searching for at the bottom of that habit?
Take this businessman. Every night, he drank to escape. But he realized he wasn't hooked on the sake. He was hooked on the off switch. The drink was just a ritual to end the workday. So, he changed the ritual. He chose a new way to shift gears. He traded the bottle for a brush. 10 minutes of sketching, a childhood passion, became his new bridge to peace. This wasn't just a distraction, it was a reconnection. He met his need for transition without losing himself in the process. As the art grew, the urge for the alcohol withered. When you feed the right parts of yourself, the wrong parts starve naturally.
And then there is self-compassion. Shame is a terrible motivator. The Japanese know that
True transformation isn't a conflict against your soul. It's a dance with your own nature. Stop trying to conquer them. Every bad habit is just a misguided teacher, a compass pointing to where you've lost your way. To tame the wild mind, don't build a cage. Give it a vast, open pasture. Watch your thoughts with the eyes of a kind friend.